Thanks, Daniel. In 2004, I was able to curate the festival in Arles, and one of the things I was doing there was to try and isolate and look at new emerging photography. And in my sort of studies of this, one of the things I noticed at that time was a great degree of what I would call sort of conceptual documentary. And in this festival, I therefore sort of highlighted this and showed people like, say, Stephen Gill, Hans van der Meer, photographers of this nature. And I decided, therefore, to sort of really follow this exploration in the opportunity that I had in the festival here in New York. Now, originally I was going to call the exhibition Con Doc, which is a conceptual documentary, but I decided to tighten it up further and call it New Typologies. The typology in photography, as you all know, is something that's been with photography ever since it was sort of born, if you like. And I guess it was heightened by the Germans in the 20s, and then, of course, really revived with the extraordinary discipline and vigor within the art world. So I decided, therefore, to look at this particular trend in some closer detail. And because there is so much work out in the world that is of this nature, I decided to try and isolate this by first off having people from all over the world, and also trying to find people I thought were doing work of this particular type that was really poignant. So the thing I was looking for, if you like, was a sort of a series of work which I felt, if you like, put the finger on something about modern society that this typology that they all did really showed very well. So if we go into our PowerPoint, this is Annika Asaf. She's Argentine. Because of the nature of my work, I do a lot of traveling. This gives me a great opportunity to look at a lot of new work. As some of you may know, I'm fascinated by photography books, so part of my sort of drive is to try and find photography books all over the world and discover new ones. So I often go to South America, and of course, there's a very healthy contemporary photography scene here. I would say Argentina, out of all the ones there, is probably the most modern in its outlook. And I thought this series here, done by this woman, was quite extraordinary. They're very large prints, and they were done in the last few years, and they showed the new middle classes of Argentina holding their guns quite uncomfortably, because after the financial crisis of 2001, where suddenly the crime escalated in Buenos Aires, it meant that middle-class people had to keep guns to fend off any potential intruders. So it's a very good way of looking at that sort of volatility of an economy such as Argentina. Next we have Donovan Wiley, and as we speak, he is literally photographing, and has been doing so for a long period, the demolition of the maze. Some of you may have seen the pictures that he did of the book he did on the maze about 3 years ago, where he documented very thoroughly. And every single week now for the last 6 months he's been there photographing and recording the demolition of this very famous prison. Okay. Yes, sorry, if you didn't know. The maze is in Belfast, of course, and it's where the terrorists were kept, or the supposed terrorists were kept in prison by the British authorities. And very much part of the symbol of the newfound peace there is the demolition of this notorious prison. Next we have Jan Banning. He's Dutch. In fact, I could have easily filled this whole exhibition with Dutch photographers. In my opinion, the real key to what's happening in Europe now is with Dutch photography. The most brilliant photographers. It's a small country, but it's just got the right energy and the right flow. So I'm very happy to show Jan. He's done a series of bureaucrats around the world. He's been to 8 different countries and studied and photographed different bureaucrats. This one is in Peru. We have one other from India. And it's done very formal, straight-on portraits of people sitting behind their desks. And I think in the exhibition it'll have 8 countries with 2 large prints from each. Next we have Jan Campaniers. He's a Belgian artist, and he has documented these incredible folly memorials, if you like, to be found in the old Yugoslavia. Ugly, big, beautiful, brutal, and it really tells us about that sort of cold, Eastern communist country feeling that, of course, now is subsiding. Another one, please, from Jan. They are horrendously ugly and beautiful at the same time. Very large prints, they're all shot on 5:4, incredible detail. Next. This is Jeffrey Milstein. He's an American, and he has photographed planes from underneath, which is a sort of simple idea, but very surreal. And he's documented this over a long period of time, and we're going to be showing a grid of these strange pictures because they show something that's so familiar in our lives, but from a sort of strange perspective. And next. Michel Campoux, this is a Canadian photographer, and he has documented the inside of dark rooms from photographers he knows in Canada. Now, if you like, the whole idea of going to a dark room is a strange thing because it's a place that all photographers have known, especially in the past, less so now, of course, because dark rooms are becoming more redundant as digital technology takes over. So I think I like this idea of him showing this sort of remnant from the analog age, but showing it in a very modern way.